everybody, Erica Serwin here from Pink Buckaroo Designs. I'm going to show you how to make this cute little, simple little treat box. It's just like a normal gift box that has a lid that comes off. Inside, I have something fun from Little Debbie. It's called Spin Wheels. I actually got these in my grocery delivery by mistake. It wasn't what I ordered, but I thought, hey, those are really cute. So I wanted to make a box that fit those. I think that's kind of a fun little non-traditional fall treat. Now, what I'm featuring is the Pretty Pumpkins stamp set. It does have some coordinating dies, which I love the dies. There's a lot of different things there in the dies, but we're going to use this one right here. And then I pulled a different sentiment. I love these scripty fonts here. We're going to use this Thanks from Biggest Wish. Okay, let's get started. The first thing we're going to do is make our box because it's going to need to dry a little bit. You're going to need a piece of soft suede, and all of this is going to be typed on my blog post. So if you want to click the link here on YouTube, head over there and you will find it on the blog post. This is a piece of soft suede that is 5.5 by 6.5, and we're going to score it at 1.5 on all 4 sides. Okay, so all the way around. Then I've got a piece of this beautiful Nature's Harvest Designer Series paper. And let's see, I can't remember the measurements. 3 3/4 by 4.5. And we're going to score this at 1/2 inch on all 4 sides. Now, when you are scoring your Designer Series paper, don't push real hard because it will rip really easily. Just go really lightly, okay? Now, grab you're going to need your scissors and your bone folder. Here's mine. And I'm going to use some glue, some adhesive, liquid glue. All right, so now take your bone folder, burnish all those lines. Get them nice and crisp. And I think I'm going to show you how to make the bottom first. Visually, it's a little bit easier to see, I think, than the DSP. They're going to go together exactly the same. All right, the first thing that we're going to do is cut off the corners. I'm going to cut from that score line to that score line. Okay, on all 4 sides. And then on the short end, the short sides, we're going to cut those score lines like that. And then we're ready for our glue. I use liquid glue. Our tear and tape works great. Our Stampin' Seal Plus works great. And our Stampin' Seal works great too. Although it is not designated for 3D projects. It's more for cards and other things, but I find that it's really strong too. But here in South Texas, it's very humid, so I like to use the liquid glue so nothing pops apart. Now we're going to fold these. Notice the glue, I put it on the outside of the box. This is the inside, that's the outside. And all I'm going to do is fold these in like this. If I can do it without getting my hands gluey. Fold up that rectangle there on the end. And then I've got these clothespins. I keep these close at hand to just hold my boxes together while they dry. It takes just a few minutes. But those little clothespins will ensure that nothing pops apart before it's fully dry. These are just from Walmart. Nothing fancy. All right, let's do the same thing here. Cut off those little corners. Now, this is going to be a little bit trickier only because it's smaller. So, take your time and go slow. Make sure you don't snip things that aren't supposed to be snipped. The blue side of the paper, which is so beautiful, is so busy. It's really hard to actually see it, those score lines. All right, I think I'm just going to do, let's see, 2 at a time. All right, I'm just going to put my glue on this side. All right, and I'm going to fold that up and fold that one up. And I don't think I have enough clothespins for all these corners. They're on the other side of the room, but we'll make do. Okay, a little bit, whoa, that's a little bit more than a little bit. Fold that up and hold those closed, pretend like you have clothespins. I think I'll take them off the other box because it's had enough time to really kind of dry. Okay, now let's set that aside. Let's make our cute little tag. We're going to stamp that beautiful pumpkin image in Memento Black on basic white cardstock. Okay, I'm using Memento because I'm coloring with Stampin' Blends. You need to use a water-based ink with your Stampin' Blends. Now we'll stamp the sentiment in Misty Moonlight up here at the top. All right, we're going to start with Pale Papaya. I'm going to go from light to dark. And I'm going to get my light Pale Papaya and do this cute little pumpkin right here. And you'll notice I color all my pumpkins the same. I fill them in with the light, and then I take my dark and I kind of outline those lines, and I put a little bit of dark down at the bottom where it's sitting on the ground. And then I blend it all together. Okay, so that one was easy because it's teeny tiny. Now let's do that big one in the back. I'm going to do pumpkin pie. Whoops. I am using my bullet tip end of my Stampin' Blend markers. They have a brush tip end also, and that works great when you are when you have a large area to cover, which I'll show you in just a second. But when I'm trying to make sure I stay in the lines like this and not get out, I like to use that bullet end. Go around those leaves. Then I think I will switch over and I'll just take my brush end and fill in. Okay. Now I'm going to get my dark pumpkin pie. Do the same thing. I'm going to go around those lines that the artist drew on our pumpkin. Put a little bit back here. Now I'm also going to put a dark line around these other two pumpkins because they've created a shadow on that pumpkin behind them. All right. Now I know it looks a little bit weird right now, but we're going to blend it all together. All right. And it's going to look great once it dries. It'll have some dimension. It'll have some shadow. And you will love it. All right, it's a little bit darker over here where that pumpkin is covering it up. All right, our last pumpkin, I'm using Cajun Craze. This is my favorite shaped pumpkin. When I go to the pumpkin patch, this is the pumpkin I'm always looking for. Kind of squat and perfectly round. I could buy 1,000,000 pumpkins every fall. I love, love, love pumpkins. And here where it's hot in the fall, they usually, most of them are rotten by the time we get to Thanksgiving, but that's okay. I still enjoy them. Okay, now again with our dark, I'm going to take that dark and go around those lines. And I am going to go under this leaf a little bit on this side. And then I think I will come down and add a shadow line there. And now I'll take my light again and blend it all together. Okay. Now for the leaves, I've got Old Olive. And I'm going to very carefully color them in. And I'm going to do the same thing. I'm using light Old Olive. And then I'm going to go back with that dark Old Olive and outline those veins. All right, so I'm just going to add some of that dark like that. Now, I don't think I'm going to take that color all the way to the end of the leaves. I think I'm just going to kind of leave those a little bit light, but blend that out like that. All right, down here we've got our last leaf. Add a little bit of color. blend that out. Last but not least, we've got the stems. They're the easiest thing to color on here. I'm just going to take my light soft suede and color them in. I'm not going to add any shadowing to these guys. There's no need for that. All right. Now, lucky for us, we've got a die that matches perfectly. All right. Now, this is going to require some fussy cutting. I'm going to cut this off, and we're going to do that in a minute. But let's bring over our cut and emboss machine. Cut out our pumpkin. And this die would fit beautifully in your mini cut and emboss machine if you have the mini. The mini's great. It's not as heavy. And it fits most of our dies. If you look in the Stampin' Up! Catalog, there's a little icon on our dies that tell you if they fit in the mini catalog. I mean, in the mini cut and emboss machine. Let's see if I can get this. My plate is warped. Let's try turning it over. That's gonna work a lot better. All right. Okay, nobody breathe. There we go. All right, perfect. There we go. What I call fussy cutting for this word. I have found that if I take a pencil and I trace an outline around it, it makes cutting it out a kind of a bubble around it just a whole lot easier, because I don't have to guess as I go. I'm just going to follow that pencil line as I go. All right, so, and you know, if you do something you don't like, you can erase it, but if you cut first without drawing that line, you've already cut it, so there's no going back. So this way you kind of have a little insurance policy about your cutting. There we go. All right, now get your smallest, sharpest scissors and just very slowly go along that line. Now, if you have pencil marks left when you're done cutting, just take your eraser and erase. These are Stampin' Up! Paper snips, and they're perfect for fussy cutting. They're very sharp and they're very small. You want to use small scissors because that helps you get in all those little curves, all the nooks and crannies. And then we'll go around beautifully. Now, as you go, cut off that excess cardstock so that it's not hanging, dangling in your way. And notice I'm not really moving my scissors. I'm kind of driving with my other hand over here, making the paper do all the work. Okay, there we go. Almost there. And around. There we go. Awesome. Now, let's put our tag together. I have cut out a basic white stitched shape. This is from the Hippo dies. It's the second largest. And I also want to show you another set of dies that coordinates really well. These are the grapevine dies. I have already cut out some of the leaves. Now, we do have some leaves in this set, but we don't have any of these little curly-cue vines. So I like these. Those look like what you would find on a pumpkin in a pumpkin patch. So I use this to cut out some old olive leaves, and I'm just going to kind of tuck behind. Let's take some dimensionals and put this on with some dimensionals. Let's do one more down here. Okay, like that. And then I'm going to take my liquid glue and I'm going to put one there, and one over here. Okay, you can kind of slide those back in there. The grapevine dies also have a big, long, curly die that has the vine and the leaves, which is great if you want to kind of go for a pumpkin patch look. I have a card on my blog that has that if you want to see it. Oh, last but not least, let's put a little dot of glue here and add that curlicue stem or vine. It's the same color as the table. I almost lost it. Right there. All right. And then last but not least, let's add these. Looks like I need a mini dimensional. Do I have any? That is the question. Yes, I do, right here. We'll put that right there. And then we're going to put these right there. Okay, we're almost done. Let's put our box together, put our yummy little pecan spin wheel. Now, if you're looking for these, Little Debbie, their website, they have a snack finder. You can type in your zip code and it'll tell you what stores they're in. All right, so that's just a little gift box. It just fits together nicely like that. I have gotten our Pale Papaya ribbon, and I love this ribbon for treat packaging. It's big and thick, and it's just beautiful. All right, let's tie a bow. So when the recipient gets this, they will need to either slide the bow off or untie it. But I'm going to sandwich in the ribbon with our tag so that the ribbon won't fall off. Let's see, I need to cut that. No waste on that. See how I did that? I didn't cut a piece of ribbon. I tied it while it was on the bolt so that I could just cut it off exactly the size that I needed it. Actually, let's see if I can move this one down just a bit. All right, now we're going to take this tag, if I don't lose my leaves, and put it right there sandwiched. And there you have it. A beautiful little fall themed gift that would make anybody happy this time of year. All right, make sure you check out the dimensions and the supply list over on my blog and come back at the end of the week for 3 more beautiful, pretty pumpkins projects. Thanks, everybody. Bye-bye.